You think you're making a smart choice. It's late. You're tired. The fridge is empty, so you reach for that frozen dinner. The box says grilled chicken with steamed vegetables or home-style beef stew with mashed potatoes. It looks clean. It looks balanced. It even says high in protein and made with real ingredients. But here's the problem. It's lying to you. Packaged meals, frozen pizzas, microwavable pasta, heat and eat stews are one of the biggest health traps in the modern American kitchen. They're designed to look like real food, but act like silent saboteurs. Let's be clear. We're not talking about canned soup or preserved tuna. This is bigger. This is the multi-billion-dollar industry of frozen TV dinners. Packaged lasagna, microwavable breakfast burritos, instant mac and cheese, and those pre-cooked chicken stir-fry bags that promise to make your life easier. But they don't. They slowly erode your health, especially if you're over 55. These meals target your weakness, convenience. You think you're skipping the drive-thru? You think you're eating better. But these boxes are often worse than fast food. Why? Because they're pumped with preservatives, sodium, and cheap oils to extend shelf life, not your lifespan. That grilled chicken? Likely injected with sodium phosphate. Those vegetables? Flash frozen, overcooked, and stripped of most nutrients. That creamy sauce? Thickened with cornstarch, sugar, and hydrogenated oils. And then there's the serving size scam. The label says 400 calories per serving, but that box holds 2.5 servings. You eat the whole tray, thinking it's one meal, and suddenly you've consumed 1,000 calories, over 1,800 mils of sodium, and enough processed ingredients to leave your kidneys begging for mercy. And let's not forget the real red flag. You never truly know what's in it. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry project. Disodium inosinate, carrageenan TBHQ, modified cornstarch, and natural flavor that's anything but natural. Here's a question. If your grandmother couldn't recognize the ingredients in your dinner, should you really be eating it? These meals promise home-cooked taste, but deliver lab-cooked leftovers. You might as well be eating a science experiment. And yet, people trust them. They fill their freezers with boxes stacked like bricks, colorful, packaging hiding a slow drip of long-term damage. And it's not just about calories or weight gain. It's about what these meals do to your blood pressure, your gut, your liver, your brain. It's about inflammation, insulin resistance, and the kind of chronic fatigue that makes you say, I just don't feel like myself anymore. And that's not an accident. That's the result of years of convenience in a box. So before you unwrap that frozen dinner tonight, ask yourself one thing. Is this really food? Or just a product designed to look like it? Because what's coming next is worse. In part 2, we reveal the first frozen meal that might be sitting in your freezer right now, and why it's more dangerous than the drive-thru burger you've been avoiding. Stay with us. It looks innocent. A quick fix. A familiar comfort. Pop it in the oven. Wait 15 minutes. And suddenly you've got dinner on a plate. Crispy crust, melted cheese, pepperoni sizzling on top. It even smells real. But here's the truth. Frozen pizza is one of the most deceptive meals in your freezer. Let's break it down. That crust? It's not bread. It's a sponge of refined flour, preservatives, and sugar, engineered to be soft on the inside, crisp on the outside, but completely empty on nutrients. And that crispy edge? It's not from baking. It's from palm oil and shortening that bubble and burn at 400 degrees. The cheese? Often not even 100% dairy. Most frozen pizzas use a cheese blend made of milk proteins, starches, oils, and flavor additives. It stretches, it melts, it shines. But it doesn't nourish, and if it comes pre-shredded, it's dusted in cellulose to prevent clumping, which is just a fancy word for wood pulp. The sauce? Loaded with sugar, salt, and citric acid, giving it a tangy bite. And a hidden insulin spike. One serving can have more sugar than a cookie. And let's talk toppings. Pre-cooked sausage crumbles and pepperoni discs aren't exactly fresh. They're heavily processed meats with nitrates, and smoke flavor created in labs, not wood-fired ovens. In fact, some frozen pepperoni slices are more chemical than meat by weight. Here's the kicker. One slice of frozen pizza can hit 700 mg of sodium. Eat half the pizza. You're looking at over 1,500 mg. Before dessert, before a soda. And if you think thin crust makes it healthier, It just leaves more room for you to eat more slices. But nutrition isn't the only concern. In multiple lab tests, frozen pizzas from popular brands have been found with contaminants like phthalates, chemicals from packaging that can leach into food during heating. These compounds have been linked to hormonal disruption, fertility issues, and even cancer risks. And think about this. If it can sit in your freezer for 9 months without changing color, should it really be considered food? Frozen pizza isn't just unhealthy, it's misleading. It tricks your brain with flavor, your tongue with texture, and your stomach with salt until you're full, foggy, and fatigued. So next time you reach for that $4 pepperoni delight, remember, it's not dinner. It's a packaged gamble. Up next in part 3, we look at the frozen meal that's marketed as healthy, but hides more sodium than a Big Mac. And it's probably in your freezer right now. Stay tuned. You see it in the frozen aisle. Lean, smart, heart-healthy. It's got a picture of grilled chicken with wild rice and broccoli. The packaging is soft blue, maybe with a leaf or a heart logo. You feel better just holding it. But here's the ugly truth. These meals are marketing miracles, not medical ones. The labels scream low fat or only 270 calories. But what they don't tell you is what's hiding behind those numbers. Sodium, sugar, preservatives. Enough to make your heart race, not from love, but from blood pressure spikes. Let's take one popular example, a frozen roasted turkey with mashed potatoes and green beans. Sounds like a safe bet, right? Flip the box. 100 milligrams of sodium, added sugar in the mashed potatoes, modified food starch in the gravy. 3 types of preservatives to keep the turkey looking fresh after months in a freezer. And the vegetables? They've been cooked, frozen, microwaved, and flash-heated so many times that what's left is texture without nutrition. They're soft, watery, and taste more like the cardboard tray than the garden. The real kicker? These healthy meals are often made in the same factories as regular frozen entrees. Same meat, same potatoes, same gravy. Just smaller portions and a better story on the box, and seniors, especially. Those watching their heart health are the most vulnerable. Because they trust labels, they see lean and think safe. They see smart and think approved by doctors. But it's all a play on perception. Some even say, it's better than fast food. But here's the problem. When a frozen dinner has more sodium than a cheeseburger and the same amount of shelf life chemicals, what exactly is it better than? And portion sizes? A healthy dinner might say 270 calories, until you realize you're still hungry and microwave another. Now you're at 540 calories and 2,000 milliliters of sodium, wondering why your ankles are swelling and your energy's gone. Let's call it what it is. It's not a healthy meal. It's a low-fat illusion. Next time you see lean turkey or healthy beef tips on a frosty box, ask yourself, would a real home-cooked meal need 20 ingredients you can't pronounce just to stay edible? Exactly. In part 4, we're going deeper into the frozen breakfast trap. Waffles, burritos, and those protein-packed sandwiches that promise energy, but deliver exhaustion. You won't want to miss what's coming next. It's early. You're tired. You open the freezer, and there it is. The fast fix, a warm, cheesy breakfast burrito. A sweet Belgian waffle, maybe even an egg white turkey sandwich that promises 20 grams of protein. You microwave it. You eat. You move on. But by 10 a.m., you feel sluggish, foggy, thirsty, and hungry again. Sound familiar? That's not a coincidence. That's the hidden cost of frozen breakfast. Let's start with the basics, waffles and pancakes, often packed with refined white flour, added sugar, and artificial flavoring. They look golden, crispy and innocent, but one serving can contain more sugar than a donut. And that syrup? It's not maple. It's high fructose corn syrup, thickened with artificial caramel color and preservatives. Next up, the famous breakfast burrito. Eggs, sausage, potatoes, and cheese all wrapped up. Sounds hearty, right? Until you read the label. 900, 200 milligrams of sodium per burrito. Processed meats like sausage and bacon laced with nitrates. Artificial cheese blends with more stabilizers than dairy. And eggs? Often pre-scrambled, flash-frozen, and reheated in industrial ovens. not cooked fresh. The result? What you're eating is not breakfast. It's a lab-designed sodium bomb that tricks your body with fat and salt into thinking it's satisfied. Until the crash. Let's not forget the healthy egg sandwiches. They promise protein and balance, but they also come with greasy biscuits or syrup-infused buns. More sodium than a burger, and a texture that turns spongy after 30 seconds in the microwave. The biggest issue? These frozen breakfasts are engineered for taste and shelf life, not for health. Many contain chemical emulsifiers, modified starches, and preservatives designed to survive freezing, transport, reheating, and still look fresh, but your body doesn't forget. You might save 5 minutes in the morning, only to spend the rest of your day with bloating, brain fog, and cravings. Ask yourself this. Would you fry up bacon, sausage, eggs, and cheese at home? Wrap it all in a thick flour tortilla and eat it every day? Would you pour pancake syrup on white bread and call it breakfast? Because that's what most frozen options are, packaged imitations of real food. Designed for speed but paid for in energy and long-term health. Coming up in Part 5, the frozen chicken trap. How grilled chicken strips and healthy tenders are hiding mystery coatings, industrial oils, and more salt than you'd find in a drive-through fry bag. Don't miss what's next. You see the label, grilled chicken breast, lightly breaded chicken strips, low fat. High protein, sounds clean, right? But here's the dirty secret. That frozen chicken is hiding more than just flavor. Let's start with the word grilled. What most people imagine is fresh chicken on a flame grill, seared with marks from an open fire. But in reality, those grill marks, they're painted on, literally. Brushed with caramel coloring or seared by a roller press, not by actual fire. The chicken itself? It's often injected with a salt solution, pumped with up to 15% retained water to boost weight, and coated in modified food starch to hold everything together, so that lean grilled chicken may actually be soaked in phosphate additives to preserve juiciness, held together with methyl cellulose, the same substance used in glue, loaded with over 600 meg of sodium per serving, and then there's the oven-roasted or breaded versions. They come frozen in golden crusts, promising crispiness after a few microwave minutes. But what they don't mention is that the coating absorbs oil like a sponge during processing. Result? That light breading becomes a greasy shell, locking in processed meat and flavoring agents like disodium inosinate and MSG, known triggers for headaches and stomach upset in sensitive people. Even worse, most of these products use mechanically separated chicken, where every last scrap is pulled from bones, processed into a paste, and restructured into fillets or strips. You're not biting into a fresh chicken breast. You're chewing on formed fragments, held together with chemistry, not cooking. And here's the real kicker. Some healthy grilled chicken products are saltier than fried chicken. That's not health food. That's marketing. So next time you toss a frozen chicken bag into your cart, ask yourself, would you ever cook chicken like this at home, marinating it in salt water, coloring it with fake grill lines and blending it with gums and preservatives? Didn't think so. Coming up in Part 6, the grand finale, the comfort food deception, frozen lasagnas, mac and cheese bowls, creamy casseroles. We'll reveal why these feel-good meals are silently feeding chronic disease. Stay with me, everyone. Loves comfort food, that warm bowl of mac and cheese, the rich layers of lasagna, or that creamy chicken. Casserole that takes you back to grandma's kitchen. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Those frozen, home-style meals aren't comfort. They're chronic disease in disguise. Let's talk frozen mac and cheese first. The box says extra creamy. Real cheddar, made with whole milk, but one serving can pack. On 500 mg of sodium, over 40 grams of fat, nearly 600 calories, and that's just a small bowl. The cheese? Often a mix of processed cheese sauce, thickeners like xanthan gum, and powdered dairy blends engineered for smoothness, not nutrition. Your microwave turns it into a molten yellow puddle. But your arteries? They call it liquid regret. Next, frozen lasagna layered with ground beef, creamy ricotta, and rich tomato sauce, except the beef is often low-grade filler, loaded with soy protein, isolates, and preservatives to make it shelf-stable for years. Each slice may look innocent, but many frozen lasagnas have 800, 200 calories, 50% of your daily saturated fat intake, and sodium levels that rival fast food combos. And don't get fooled by the word oven-baked. It's pre-assembled in a factory, flash-frozen and reheated into a soggy, oily square of sadness. Then we have the casseroles, creamy chicken and rice, broccoli cheddar bakes, turkey stuffing trays. They look cozy, but open the label and you'll see modified starch, carrageenan, corn syrup solids, MSG, and sometimes even hydrogenated oils. It's not homemade, it's lab-made. What's worse? Many of these meals claim to be low cholesterol or lean, but that only means they meet loopholes in labeling laws, not actual health standards. Here's the bottom line. Frozen comfort meals trade emotional satisfaction for physical exhaustion. They flood your system with salt, processed fats, and empty carbs, leaving you full, bloated, and craving more in just hours. So before you pop that tray in the microwave, ask yourself, is this real food? Would I ever make this from scratch using these same ingredients? If not, then why eat it now? Because comfort shouldn't come with regret, fatigue, or health risk. True comfort is knowing what's in your food and that it's doing your body good. Wrap up. So, what's your frozen food horror story? Was it the mystery meat lasagna? The gluey mac and cheese? The chicken that tasted like chalk? Drop it in the comments below. Let's hear your worst frozen food experience. And don't forget, not all frozen meals are evil. In our next video, we'll reveal the 2 actually safe frozen meals that pass the test. Real ingredients, real flavor, no lab coats. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, because the freezer aisle should chill your food, not your health.